Whether it be in terms of impact on the story, the message he carried, or the legacy he has, WhiteBeard stands on top. And in one sentence, I can sum up all my feelings about WhiteBeard. Can we get much higher? WhiteBeard's influence on the story is extremely apparent, especially when you realize that out of all the fights in the story, none were as big as his. Oh yeah, his fights were cool too. WhiteBeard is one of those characters whose legacy is apparent. The world's strongest man, even when he was old and dying, able to knock the shit out of Akainu, even though he was old enough to be Akainu's grandpa. WhiteBeard in terms of physical prowess alone is unmatched, other than when he's matched by Roger. He's not called the world's strongest man for nothing, and time again, he's proved why he deserves the title. From matching Roger to fighting the entire Marine force, WhiteBeard's done it all. Even at his death, he was the strongest in the area. WhiteBeard's legacy is one of, if not the only legacy, to rival Goldie Rogers. Even without the mystery factor he has, Edward Newgate has left something behind pirates can only dream of achieving. Following WhiteBeard's death, we realized just how influential his aliveness was. His death started the second wave of the Great Pirate Era and threw off the entire world's balance. Everything went to shit following this man's death. Yet, he wasn't actively doing anything. Before his death, the most WhiteBeard did was talk to Shanks. Everything else was just him sitting there on his massive chair, getting injected with enough medicine to make every American watching One Piece fear for his wallet. WhiteBeard's the only man to stand up to the entire world government, and most importantly, he was the only person who ever confirmed the existence of the One Piece. Iconic quote.
The One Piece! The One Piece is real!
So, from what I said so far, I'm sure the question exists. Aren't WhiteBeard and Roger pretty similar? They both have extremely massive legacies and started a great pirate era following their death. They both were extremely strong, with extremely strong crews, and yes, while all of this is true, there's one distinguishing factor that sets apart WhiteBeard from Roger. Family. The theme of family is the most apparent theme in WhiteBeard's story. It was specifically stated that a family is all that he wanted. He never actively seeked treasure and riches, though they ended up coming to him anyways. His family was the most important thing to him. Now, why is this important? Well, because the theme of family in One Piece is an extremely important theme to the show. Family in One Piece, however, is shown through pirate crews rather than biological families. The only real example of a biological family we have is Luffy's family, with a grandpa that beat him up and a dad who... well, he exists. That's more than 90% of anime protagonists already. One of the key messages of One Piece is that your family doesn't have to be the people you were born with, but rather the people you die for. Side note, this is the most inspirational sounding thing I have ever said. Oda conveys this by showing ragtag members who come from all sorts of backgrounds meeting together to form true and genuine bonds. Look at the Straw Hats, for example. They all have one thing in common, being that they don't really have a biological family. And that they are constantly shipped together by the One Piece fandom. For real though, you guys need to chill. There's only one canon ship in the entire show. Zoro and me. The show is about these members coming together to form a true family through the bonds they create with one another. While most pirate crews conveys this message, none of them show it as well as WhiteBeard. WhiteBeard's crew aren't even a crew at this point. They are a family. WhiteBeard calling his crew members his children displays the theme of family at the fullest. As Marco said, for these crew members who probably never had a parent figure in their life, hearing someone call them their child must feel amazing. WhiteBeard is one of the only lights of comfort in the series, as he protects his crew like they're his children. It's unfortunate that his crew doesn't often do the same. WhiteBeard shows how family can change one's life, as him calling his crew members his children led to him amassing such a large crew. It's the reason all of the WhiteBeard allies didn't hesitate to join WhiteBeard in the war. WhiteBeard allies remind me of America. They had no hesitation. Speaking of war, let's talk about one of the most important scenes. WhiteBeard being stabbed and immediately forgiving the person who stabbed him. WhiteBeard calling Squard his son even after Squard stabbed him displays WhiteBeard kindness on full blast. His forgiving and fatherly nature is one of the only lights of comforts that many of his crew members will ever know. His longing for a family led to him creating one of the happiest families in the show, as well as one of the most wholesome ones. His crew is his family, and together they display the importance of family, biological or not. All of his crew members love him. Most of his crew members love him. And he loves all of them. So anyways, after that entire wholesome spiel, let's talk about something more on brand for my channel. Depression. While WhiteBeard displays the importance of having family, we can also infer his longing from family comes from a shitty background. The hometown he grew up in was shit, and he never truly had a family there. He joined a pirate crew to, presumably, find a family, but instead he was met with, well, whatever the fuck went on with Kaido and Big Mom. The everyman for himself attitude in the Rocks pirates led to WhiteBeard being lonely and longing to find a family. Following the Rocks' defeat, he spent years amassing a crew and calling them his sons, presumably to feel better and more like he has a family. The loneliness and longing for family is shown time and time again in One Piece, but I think Oda showed it best through WhiteBeard. Random ass side note here, but why is loneliness spelled like that? Like, I'm looking at it and my script, and this makes no sense. Like, WhiteBeard is the greatest character Oda has made when it comes to showing the theme of family. His ability to band together that large of a crew with simply the promise of being his family shows just how many people in this world long for a family. WhiteBeard shows one of the most reoccurring themes in One Piece, and if anyone looks close enough, they can see how he's the most influential One Piece character. not only through his impact on the world, but more importantly, his message.